Okay, so we come together to play a very interesting game to try to guess which creative performed better. My name is Nimrod, I'm co-founder and CEO of daily.dev, and I have here with me today our top experts in developer marketing and advertising, Harry and Michael. So the way it's going to work is I'm going to show two creatives from the same advertiser, and we would need to guess which one performed better. And then let's see where it takes us. All right, so the first set of creatives for a company called Sentry. We have creative A, this, creative B, this. Which one performed better? Harry, go first.
I'm going with creative A. I think it looks more developer focused. It looks like dev UI, and I think it will resonate.
Fantastic. Michael, what do you say? Creative A or creative B?
I would say A as well. I think this gives you a nice little flow to be curious about and investigate. And there's more there to catch on to and interact with.
We've got two winners. So yeah, it's definitely creative A. At least for me, the main thing that clicked is this like whiteboard vibe that gives you a little bit of curiosity, a little bit of like a really good ratio of geekiness to it that I think would make a developer click, definitely.
There's enough there to get the attention and to it not be a view in, view out. Yep. Like you can't digest that in a tenth of a second. You need to give it your full attention. So just by the very nature of the creative, you are connecting with the developer. It's not a transactional.
It draws you in and there's a flow to it. So you can actually go through and follow, and that in itself is earning attention.
Yeah. I also really like the red part with like the big red X on it. Kind of like developers always want to understand what things are wrong. Not necessarily what works well, but what doesn't work well is also a very interesting angle. And I think that by highlighting that part, giving a little bit of clue that there's something that has been done wrong, there's like the right way to do so, introduces this extra flavor to the creative.
The very fact that there's that volume of content or text within the creative, you are speaking directly to the audience, which is we talk about all the time. You have to speak directly to a developer. It can't be generic, and you can't avoid that when you've got that much text.
Definitely. And big shout out to Sentry, which they're amazing advertisers doing a lot of work around brand and performance, etc. And I think that just by looking at these two creatives, they're very different from each other. That says a lot about the marketing team behind it. They are trying out different angles, they're pushing the borders. That's very important. And we talk very often about the importance of creative testing. And I think this is a prime example of trying two very different approaches and see what resonates.
And both of these really give a flavor of what their culture is about and how they think about developers. Inherently, just from seeing a visual, you can make an informed decision that this company actually cares about me and is willing to make an effort to get me to check you out.
Definitely. All right, ready for the next creative?
Let's do it.
So for creative number 2, we have this creative A or this creative B. Which one performed better?
I'm going creative B. Again, it's dev UI. A dev is going to resonate and recognize what they see, and it's going to bring out that curiosity to not look on, look off. It's not a transaction. They are going to give more time to understand what it is. I don't think you get that with the first creative as powerfully as you do with the second.
Michael, what do you think?
I think B, because it's very aligned with a piece of advice we always put out there is, if you can, show the product. People want to see what it is, and this does it in a very fun way.
So we have two winners here. Definitely creative B is the winner. I think that this is somewhat counterintuitive for a lot of people who are just entering developer marketing. If you were to post such a thing on general purpose social media, it would literally get 0 attention. It's just like there's so many details here. You cannot read anything in the UI, especially like smaller screens. But developers, they have a different mindset. So they get drawn to the technical aspects of the creative. They are, as Harry said, they are curious about what's actually there. They want to enlarge the picture, want to see what's going on. And that's a very different behavior than any other consumers online. So this is why I find this particular case fascinating. And again, that's coming from a very prominent player in the developer tooling space, a company named Datadog. And as you can see here, yet again, two very different creative angles to try and see what sticks, what resonates. For our next creative batch, we have Edge Impulse. Which one performed better? Creative A or Creative B?
I think this is a tougher choice for me. I can totally see why both of these would resonate with the audience. My gut feel is Creative A. I think the dev meme ability of it probably tips it. But it's 51-49. It's very difficult for me to call.
Michael, what do you think?
It's the GOAT for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have two winners here. It's Creative A. Now, the thing that I find fascinating about this creative is that if you compare that to other creatives we've seen earlier, which also feature a book or an ebook, it didn't resonate there, but it does resonate here. So sometimes having this like extra, slightly bizarre thing to the creative really clicks with the audience. And I think when it comes to animals and maybe goats in particular, it has a certain extra humoristic aspect to it, but definitely a surprise for me. When I've prepared the creatives, I was like, no way this one won. And at least for me, like the main takeaway is the unpredictability of creative testing, right? You could look at a creative and say, wow, that's going to be a banger. And then eventually it's a complete flop. And you can look at a creative and say, like, I don't understand why it resonated, but it really outperformed everything. And that goes back to the very common advice we give everyone who advertises on our platform. You need to test. You need to try out different angles.
So I think it's Rory Sutherland that said the opposite of a good idea can be another good idea. You may not know it yet until you try it. And I think this is very true when trying things that you think that probably wouldn't work, and then actually it's the outlier and it works really well. One
more thing that I would tell developer marketers listening here is authenticity and trying to be unique. And in a world where AI, ChatGPT, Claude, all these friends are just generally available, everyone's using that. The number one thing you want to do is actually try and ask those LLMs to produce creatives for you and make sure you never use these creatives again. That would force your team to think about truly unique experiences that otherwise are very difficult to produce. Okay, so now we're going with creative number 4. Now this is a tight race. They look very similar, so it's quite tough.
I think they both play on the humor side of things. I'm going to go creative A. Similar to the last one, it's a very tight run thing. I think with this, they're a lot more similar than the others. So there's some creative differences, but the overall style of a marketing headline with a supporting image using humor to serve a point is consistent across two, so it's difficult to tell. So it's a bit more of a gamble. I'm 3 for 3 so far. I'm going to risk it all and go for A.
All right, Michael, is it A or B for you?
I think they're both really good. The thing I like about A, which I feel like why... This is A?
This is A.
Oh, sorry, B. It's cleaner. There's only one pop of color, and it's just giving me like a little bit geeky. And the animation, in a good way, and the animation is nice. So for that reason, I think it probably did better than the other one.
All right, and the answer is creative B.
Yeah.
Michael, you're starting to lead here in the race. It's definitely a tight race, but while both creatives look quite similar, that creative performed profoundly better than any other creative. And it's really hard to tell just by the creative, right? Because there's also the discussion that we're not having here, which is what's the targeting. That's also a pretty big and important piece of information. So while I think what's interesting about this use case is that you see two very similar creatives, they have slightly different messaging, but the targeting here matters a lot. So, and apparently that creative resonated with that particular targeting. Both creatives were shown to the same target, but this one resonated better. If we were to change the targeting, maybe the other creative would perform better. So, next creative, number 5, company called Postmark. It's an email infra company. This is creative A, and this is creative B. Which one performed better?
I'd say the dinosaur, the little Google game.
What do you say, Harry?
I agree. It's creative B all day, and that's nothing against creative A. They're both really strong, but this plays on dev humor without going too far perfectly. I wouldn't be surprised if the results for both of these were very, very positive. But yeah, B is my choice.
And this has a dinosaur in that as well, but it's not as fun as the other one.
Yeah.
And again, if you're going to get someone to buy something, just having an offer, fine. But it's more, at this stage, it's more about getting them to actually check it out. Introducing the pricing offer is always a good thing. And we see like anything that incentivizes people to try it out is great. But the other one's just cleaner with those two images. It gains that curiosity very easily.
All right, so for anyone who's listening, I can possibly retire at this point because both of our experts got it wrong. The actual creative that won is creative A, and it goes literally against all instincts.
It does.
In developer marketing. It was a tight race. It's not like a clear-cut winner. It was a slightly better than the dinosaur example. And at least for me, being fully honest, I have no explanation for that.
No.
It's like almost unbelievable, but it did work.
Just goes to show you got to try it all.
Yes.
100%.
And I personally love the dinosaur thing with the Game of Thrones thing and the Chrome game. It's a classic, but yeah.
Give it more time. I have faith in B.
Last creative for today, number 6. We have creative A or creative B.
B.
You're going with B.
I'm going
Why?
with B. It shows developer UI, which we know from the first few examples is popular. It's not as clear, but it feels like it's telling me more than creative B. So I'm getting more from it, which should.
It's like giving you an illustration of UI. It's not like a clear screenshot, but it triggers some curiosity.
It's coming as close as it possibly can to showing you the product in an environment where you can't really do that. So
Without overloading it.
Yeah. So it's on that tightrope pretty well. So I'm going creative A.
Michael.
Yeah, it gives you a snapshot of what do we do and how are you gonna experience it.
So you're with creative A too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. And both of you are winners.
Yeah.
We need some confetti. Why didn't we bring confetti? We should like pop a confetti each time. Fantastic. It was a pleasure playing this game with you.
Oh, it's the most fun I've had all day.
There's no prize for the winner, but for what it's worth, Michael, congratulations. You've won by 1 point.
Well done.
All right, Harry, you're going to need to do the dishes.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I accept my punishment.